Almighty Father, I believe. Do you believe?
Yes, I believe.
You created heaven and earth. Do you believe?
Yes, I believe.
I believe in Jesus Christ. Do you believe?
Yes, I believe.
Everlasting Son of God. Do you believe?
Yes, I believe. Oh, yes, I believe in the Father and the Son.
You are watching My Catholic Faith, and I'm your presenter, Josephine Sonda. Today we focus our attention on the topic that says faith in everyday life. And with me in the studio have been joined by Father Arthur NTEMBULA. Father, you are welcome to the platform.
Thank you very much, and greetings to our dear viewers.
Well, Father, before we dive into the topic, may we first kindly understand the word faith?
Faith is our relationship with God. And what, for me, defines properly that word is our belief in the God that we have not seen with our naked eyes. Our belief in the things that we cannot put under a microscope and find evidence to or find evidence of. So our belief in something that is mysterious, something that is beyond us, beyond our world of comprehension. That is what faith is. The opposite of that would be knowledge, would be understanding, would be, intellect, things that are within our space of comprehension. But when we talk about faith, we're talking about God. And God is not really within our space of comprehension. And sometimes we say where our minds, end, where they fail to continue comprehending things, that is where faith begins from.
All right, Father. That having been said, how then do we apply this faith in our everyday life?
Yeah, so basically what we are saying is these things that we believe in, the things that many times we can't even explain because they are beyond our capacity to comprehend. We want these things to have them evident in the way we live our daily life. If we believe in God, how can we then translate this, our belief in God, into something practical? We don't just say that we believe in God. There are things that help us put this belief into perspective. To some extent, we understand who God is. To some level, we know when we say God, we know what we are talking about. Not so. Even if we may not really be able to get into the intricacies, into the details of who God really is. Because now that is where our faith comes in. That is where our mind would end. But it's enough to say that we have even just a rough idea of who God is. So that rough idea of who God is what we want to make practical in the way now we live our life. We don't just believe in God for the sake of believing in God. We believe in God so that our belief in God can also help us in the way we relate with one another. So our faith is not just faith in God, but it also becomes practical when we put into consideration the way we relate with each other. And that's why everyday life aspect comes in, so that we make this our faith practical. And I thought for us to be able to make this belief, this faith, more practical, I wanted to highlight a few things.
Okay.
Yeah, a few things, so that we just see how can we, live this life in a practical manner. Otherwise, we may just end up Sunday goers or people who belong to a church whose names are written in a church register, and that's it. But I think that's not the goal. The goal is that our going to church, our being written in the book of the parish or of the church, should now help us in a concrete manner. Exactly. The way I relate with you, the way I relate even with people that I do not know, those I can call strangers. That should be our goal. And so, let's begin from the beginning. Okay, let's begin from the domestic church. And when we talk about the domestic church, we're talking about where you come from, where I come from. That space, that domestic space, where we first hear about God even before somebody tells us about God at church, the family.
Yes.
Yeah, that space is important, because if things are not done correctly from that beginning point, the church will do so much, but then the impact will be very little. So when you talk about church, we don't just want to talk about the parish or the church in the way we want to think about it. Let's talk about the church in terms of where we're coming from.
Exactly.
Within that domestic church, within the family, within that space, there should be something to remind us about our relationship with God. Because then that is what should begin to determine how we relate with one another within that space. I can't talk about loving somebody across the road if I don't love the people that I live with. Then what kind of faith is that? Mm-hmm. So the value of love should first of all be inculcated in me from there. And it's not just about my parents telling me, no, love is this, love is that, love is that, just defining it to me so that I understand what it is. That should not be the goal. Of course, that is important. But the goal is now, okay, I've told you what love is. How now are you going to make this practical with your brothers, with your sisters, with your nieces, with your uncles, with the people that are within your family?
Yes.
How, this understanding of your love, how then can you make it practical? For example, the kids at home, they're still learning how to relate. The toddlers, they're still learning how to relate. They're still learning the values of life and all that. As a parent, I'll not just teach those kids what love is. I have to show them what love is. And in fact, the kids learn faster when they see. So the way I talk to them, they will know that I have love for them or I don't have it. And the way I relate with other people within the house, they will know what kind of a person that I am. So the best lesson for them is not the words of love. It is actions of love. When you give them umunani, they begin to eat. And you see this kid who doesn't seem to want to share what he or she has with the other one.
Yes. And
then the kids will be crying, and this one has a big piece, and they're just holding it like that. As a parent, that is the best occasion for you to inculcate a teaching of love, the value of sharing in the kids. Simple as it may be. Don't just brush it off. Don't just say, that is the best occasion for you to teach the kids what it means to share. And calmly talk to them. When you have this, this is what you do. Just cut a piece. And once you do that, the kids will not forget. And even when they go out of that house, they will remember to say, if I have something and somebody is crying, they want to have a piece, I have to do what? To share. That value has been inculcated in that child from the domestic church. So as parents at home, don't just talk about the values. Don't just talk about kindness, love, what? Show the people within the house, show, especially the young ones, show them, let them see what love is, what kindness is, what humility is. Let them see what peace is. And the kids are looking at that.
Exactly.
That's not the best way to teach them about peace, about tranquility. Show them that even if you have differed, you can still talk to each other in a very mature and calm manner. If at all your emotions get the better of you, it's better you exchange those words. If you have to exchange any words, not in front of the kids.
Exactly.
Because if you do that in front of the kids, they'll think that is the proper way to handle issues. So what you inculcate in the kids or in the members of the family from the domestic church is important. Now, when those people move out of the family, they begin to mingle with others outside. They begin to go to church, they begin to go to school, they begin to go to Nakunchito, Kumaketi, and they'll begin to meet other people from other families.
Exactly.
Okay? So now, since these are coming from a family that has taught them what it means to love, what it means to be kind, what it means to be peaceful, what it means to be humble, they have learnt those values. The values have been inculcated in their blood, in their heart, in their system. That is what they'll take out there. That the same way that they treat each other in the family is how they will also treat those that they'll meet out there. So what you teach the kids or the members of the family from the family is important. When they come to church, what does the church do? The church just begins to build from that foundation. The church is not there to dig the foundation. The foundation should be dug from the house. So these kids will begin to come for catechism. They'll begin to come for that. Others will go into the youth group. Others will go into that lay group. What they begin to learn in those groups at church, even during mass, from the homily. When I'm preaching, I'm not digging a foundation. I'm building on the foundation that the family will have built.
Exactly.
When kids go for catechism, the catechizer is just building on the foundation. Which even better. Yes. Yes. When the young people go for youth groups, youth camps, youth retreat, whatever they receive from there is just a top up, if you can call it.
Exactly.
But if these people come to church, these kids come to church, these young people come to church, and the church begins to dig a foundation, then there's nothing happening at home. That is the foundation is important.
Exactly.
At the domestic level, at the domestic church, in the family. Now, let's talk about sanctifying the schedule. Sanctifying the schedule, what exactly are we talking about here? The plan. When you wake up in the morning, you have a plan for the day, okay? You have a schedule. From here, I'm going to school. From school, I'm going to church. From church, I'm going to see Kampanda. From there, I'm going to see who. From there, then at that time, I'm going to go back home. You have a schedule, okay? If you're an adult, you know, from at that time, I have a meeting at 10 o'clock. I'm going to see the director at 14 hours. I'm going to do this, that. After I've done all this, I'm going to go back home. So everybody wakes up with a schedule. It would be bad to wake up without a schedule, eh?
With no direction.
But everyone is supposed to have a schedule, a plan.
Exactly.
Yeah, a plan. This is what I'm going to do. Now, that plan, in as much as it may be full of worldly things, not in the bad sense, like things of the world, okay? Things like attending meetings, not church meetings, but maybe corporate meetings, things outside the religious circles, let's call them. In as much as the schedule could have all those things that have nothing to do with God or have nothing to do with the church, those things can still be sanctified by God. And that's what we mean by sanctifying the schedule. Those things can still be sanctified by God. If you're going to attend a business meeting, that business meeting can be sanctified by God if you bring it before God. So make your schedule a prayer point, a prayer space. From 6 to 6 or from whatever time you leave home up to whatever time you come back home. Let this whole thing be a prayer space so that, you want to have a schedule and end up successful. I think you go for a business meeting. You want to have a successful business meeting. You go to see a client. You want to have a successful meeting with that client. Now, success will not just drop from nowhere. Success has to be guided by God. So let your schedule be guided by God. Even when you are in traffic and you feel so annoyed that traffic is not moving, just say a little prayer to God. Oh my God, this traffic is so annoying me, but help me to get through it.
Exactly.
Make that moment a prayer space. Let everything that is happening to you be material for prayer.
Interesting.
Yes. Then you are going to see that your whole schedule is going to be a sanctified schedule. Mwasanga fye omuntu olimbyale mulomba iwona iwe kakabombe nineno kopa kutule ule nomba, like you even lose it. Okay? We're talking about traffic. How many people curse when they are in traffic? You start insulting the government, you insult RDA, you insult Varasa, you insult everyone. Who is responsible or whom you feel is responsible for that traffic.
Yes.
Yeah, but make that moment, in as much as annoying it can be, but make it material for prayer. Then you are going to see that your day is going to be a holy day.
Wow.
And not just an ordinary day.
Exactly.
Okay? So that is important. Let's talk about faith in the neighborhood. Faith in the neighborhood. You see, faith is not just personal. Faith can also be communal. Faith can be lived with others. And it can be lived with others in a very concrete manner. That's why the Bible guides us about the corporal works of mercy. In fact, the corporal works of mercy are the best way to live out our faith in the neighborhood. You know, in the neighborhood there, we don't live as islands. In as much as there could be war fences to Adikule, Fiwumba and all that, each one is minding their own business, we can never live as islands. Whether we like it or not, we are connected.
Exactly.
We are connected by something that we don't even understand. You could have the tallest wall fence in the world around your house, but there's going to come a time when you're going to need the person next door, and you're going to go there and knock. Kong, 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 kong. Whether now, even if you are rich, like the richest person in the world, there's going to come a time
Yes.
when you're going to need that other person. And that we shouldn't forget.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay to build wall fences, by the way. I'm not saying we shouldn't be building. It's okay, it's fine. Security reasons, we can even put razor wire or whatever those things, cameras, blah, blah, blah. That is very fine. But we shouldn't allow these physical confines to destroy what should connect us as human beings. In as much as we live in these wall fences or in these fenced houses, fenced homes, there's something deep that connects us.
Exactly.
And that should make us live as a community. So, when we talk about the corporal works of mercy, just for clarity's sake, I'll just mention them quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Feeding the hungry, okay? Giving drink to the thirsty, clothing the naked, sheltering the homeless, visiting the sick, visiting the imprisoned, and burying the dead. These are material for living our faith in a very practical manner within the community. You're going to have a funeral today. You can have a war fence. You can be indifferent. You can have a lifestyle that is off, but believe you me, you need the community around you to help you bury that person.
Exactly.
Yeah. Now, when you talk about the corporal works of mercy and living our faith concretely or practically in our community, we're talking about raising our eyes to see the needs of others, not just looking at our own plate. Therefore, this is all that matters. When you raise your eyes, you're going to see that there is a person next door who doesn't have anything on their plate, and that is going to move you towards sharing or giving them something from your plate. Mm-hmm. Sometimes we just look at our own plate and say, as long as there's chicken here, there's food, I'm okay. Whoever doesn't have anything, I mean, they are lazy, that is their own business. No, it's not their own business. Their hunger is your business. Their thirst is your business. As a Christian, you should feel compelled to do something. That is how we live out faith concretely in the community. When there's a funeral in the community, don't say it is not in your house, it is not in your compound, therefore it is not your business. Attend to that family that has been bereaved, that has a funeral. Attend to their need. Tomorrow you are the one that is going to need others to attend to you for whatever need you're going to have. So we have to create a community where everybody is looking out for everybody else. In as much as we want to live as individuals, as individual families and all that, we should never allow anything to destroy what connects us as human beings in a community. So faith to be lived concretely in a community, we have to put in view these corporal works of mercy, but also many other ways of living our life concretely as a community. The last issue I wanted to mention is about the digital desert, what I would call the digital desert. The digital desert is there's the little screen in our pocket, the little screen in our pocket, the little screen in your handbag, your phone.
Okay.
Yeah, that little screen.
Yes.
Yes, that little screen is a digital desert. This little screen can either destroy your relationship with others and with God, or help you to connect with others and with God. That little screen is neutral in itself. It's not bad, it's not good. The way you use it is what gives it morality. The way you use it is what determines whether it is bad for you or good for you.
Exactly.
Otherwise, it is just an object like any other object that you can use. You know, just like a knife. A knife is neutral. I mean, a knife is not bad. I think a knife is not bad. We use it many times to help us in many ways. In the kitchen, you can't do kitchen work without
a
knife. But that same thing, when it is abused, it can kill a human being also.
Or even yourself.
Even yourself, exactly. So that little screen in your handbag or in your pocket can also be of help to you and your relationship with God, or it can be a distraction. At the domestic level, we have families that have grown distant because of the little screen in their pocket or in their hand or in their handbag. They don't relate anymore. They don't talk to each other anymore because of this little thing. The gap continues, keeps widening. Even the husband and wife, they are in the bedroom. This one is looking at his little screen, the other one is looking at her little screen. They can't talk to each other. They can't relate. They are eating at table, children, parents, and all their phones are at table. Everybody is busy scrolling. It has created what? Distances. They can't relate. They can't. But even when you log in, you go online in that space. There are some people who just log in to go and hurt others. They'll just log in to look for someone to insult. They'll just log in to look for someone whose character they want to tarnish or to destroy, and that gives them satisfaction. But others also log in to look for a page, a blog, where somebody is live streaming mass because they want to get nourishment.
Exactly.
Yeah. Others will log in to look for a page where a homily has been posted so that they can read and nourish. So now, the question to the viewers is, when you log in, what exactly are you doing in that digital space? If you know that maybe you are not using that little screen as you should, it's time to maybe retreat, to fast a bit, okay? You know, fasting.
Yes.
Tufunge chakuli. Now, kufunga kuli phone. You fast a bit to retreat so that you restructure your attitude towards that little screen. This screen can either help you to be drawn closer to God, or it can actually create a distance, the same way that it has created a distance between people. So with all these things that I've mentioned, it is possible to live our faith concretely in our daily life. It is possible, but many times we don't pay attention to even the ordinary things of life, the small things. We don't pay attention to those, and therefore opportunities of expressing our faith concretely just pass us by. Maybe I should end there and.
Wow. Yeah, the topic sounds quite interesting, very educative, so rich. I would love, Father, you to explain more about the term sanctification. I know you have said sanctify your day, make it a prayer.
Yeah.
Just for me and my fellow learners out there, how does this word exactly means in simple terms, sanctification? Sanctification.
To sanctify, to put it simply, is to make holy.
Okay.
Yeah. To sanctify is to make holy. Now, you cannot have, or you cannot sanctify your schedule, your program. You cannot sanctify yourself if you do not have a relationship with God.
Okay.
Because our connection to God is in itself a sanctification. It's in itself a space where we can express our holiness. Now, here I have to draw a distinction between holiness and perfection.
Yes.
We're not talking about perfection. We're talking about holiness. In the Catholic Church, we have saints, holy people, those that have been proclaimed saints. Others have not been proclaimed saints, but they lived.
Yes.
They lived a holy life. Now, these saints and those many others that lived a holy life were not perfect. Perfection is not what made them holy. What made them holy is their relationship with God. Was it 2 or 3 days ago, I put up a post on Facebook, on my page, just a quotation to say, failure is not in the falling, but in the remaining fallen. Okay? Failure is not in the falling, but in the remaining fallen. When you remain fallen, then you have failed. The saints failed many times, but what made them holy was the fact that they remembered to rise and to continue the journey. And so they never failed. Some of us, when we fall, we fall forever. You remain there and that's it. And you begin to play in the mud or in whatever is there. You begin to play there and then you get used to that mud and that's it. That becomes your life.
Wow.
You have failed. So now, when we talk about sanctification, we don't want to talk about perfection. We want to talk about holiness. Falling and rising. Falling and rising. And our relationship with God is just like that. It's a relationship of falling and rising. When you fall, remember that you don't belong there. Rise and continue with the journey. Now, having drawn that distinction, let's talk about sanctification in itself. We are created to be holy. The fact that our beginning or our source is a holy source, that in itself makes us holy human beings. We are created to be holy. God did not create any unholy thing or unholy human being. He created us as holy human beings. In fact, at the point of creation, we were even perfect. He created us perfect, holy, and perfect. When we brought in the issue of sin, we lost the perfection, but we remained holy.
Okay.
Because our relationship with God was not tarnished, unless we chose to distance ourselves from Him forever. So now, when we talk about sanctifying my schedule or your schedule, we're talking about bringing this schedule that you have. It could have so many things that have nothing to do with the church or with God. It's just work. Collecting all these activities of the day and putting them in the hands of God. You have sanctified your schedule. God has blessed your schedule. God has blessed your plan. In fact, sanctification is blessing. God has put His hand on your schedule. And if God has put His hand on your schedule, you can be sure that you're going to succeed in the things that you're going to do. Sometimes failure comes because we don't put our schedule in the hands of God.
Well, Father, thank you so much. It has been quite a very, very interesting lesson. And I wouldn't want to end this program without giving this testimony concerning the point of neighborhood, faith in neighborhood. Like you explained on the road, I mean, there is this traffic jam, and how do you utilize that space? I remember a time I was in one of the lifts. You just go in with so many people. You are not even talking to each other. You did not even greet. Then came a time when we got stuck. Then we started talking.
That's when we started talking.
To each other. So from this point, I've really learned why it's so important to relate with others.
Sure.
Father, thank you so much. This is where we end our today's lesson.
Thank you
Looking
very much.
forward to another exciting topic.
Oh, yes. See you next time.
Very much. Well, our dear viewers, we have come to the end of the program. Today we were looking at faith in everyday life. Hope you have enjoyed. Join us again next week as we come with another interesting topic. From us, on behalf of the entire crew, we just wish you God's blessings. Bye-bye.
Mighty Father, I believe. Do you believe?
Yes, I believe.
You created heaven and earth.